The best handball players in the country make their way to the best outdoor three-wall park around for a showdown in the desert. The WPH Outdoor Three-Wall Clark Park is the venue as Killian Carroll, Sean Lenning, Luis Cordova, Shorty Ruiz, David Fink, Leo Canales, Dylan Hernandez, and more battle for the title of the WPH Icebreaker Challenge champion. The men's and women's players battle each other and the Arizona sun. We're going to find out who can take the heat and who can come out on top. The World Players of Handball Outdoor action starts right now.
And welcome back to Clark Park in Tucson, Arizona. My name is Dave Vincent. It is a gorgeous Saturday, a perfect day for handball here under the Arizona desert sun. And the park that the local community really put together for events like this. It's the quarterfinals, two local heroes, David Fink going up against Abraham Montijo, and Montijo gets that first serve. Best 2 out of 3 to 15 win by 2. First one is long. Montijo and Fink went up against each other in Icebreaker number 1, I believe, and it was Fink who won that one in a semifinal, eventually winning the tournament and getting his yellow jersey. So maybe redemption time here for Abraham. Montijo gets the first point here, and this is rally number 2, and one heck of a good one at that. I can tell you already that Montijo looks way better than he did back in Icebreaker number 1. I mean, this is what you expect. Now, guys, getting kind of close here. Both players kind of touching each other, and there's one right there. Fink stops it. And one great rally that ends with no point, and it ends with that contact call, which is kind of frustrating because that was a long one. Certainly want to thank Shay Lowenstein for helping out with this live broadcast and doing some camera work here in Tucson, Arizona. From Portland, Oregon, he just couldn't wait to get out to come down here. The Arizona sun is one of those things that's quite infectious. You see how nice and controlled the temperature is this time of year. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already 88 degrees. On the court, probably somewhere in the mid-90s. This is show court number 2. It's a 5-court facility with 5 more courts on the other side that can be converted to 3-wall courts, just like we did with these outdoor 4-wall courts. Convert them into 3-wall. So there's a possibility there. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but certain possibility. Montijo lets that ball go, and it was safely in by a good foot. Not a great leave. Players are calling their own scores in these early rounds, so it's much like a normal WPH event where players call scores and act as their own ref. And it's really built some camaraderie between the players, some understanding and trust. And it helps out when we do have referees, in fact. A little shove there from Montijo, but that wasn't out of hate.
Hey, Sean, what do you guys what's the points? 3 to 15.
Montijo calling a timeout here. Tucson, Arizona, Clark Park. What a beautiful facility. The locals came together and built these courts. I want to thank them, as well as those that put everything together. Benny Young, Jeff Helam, and all of the sponsors and big donors, plus the local community who placed some time and effort forward to make sure that this court complex got built, and did a great job. And another point here now for Abraham Montijo. This is the men's quarterfinals. The winner will face either Dylan Hernandez or Sean Lenning. That ball was long. If you're one of those people that play outdoor handball or even indoor and you want to be part of this Icebreaker series, contact the World Players of Handball at info@wphlive.tv. That's info@wphlive.tv. You'll see that the organizers may just work you in to the schedule. And we had 4 guys that did that, and May 1st, those guys will be on this court. Nick Mattiotti, famous former New York Mets minor league system pitcher. He's one hell of a great handball player. Max Lanemack, Abraham Montijo, and Adam Bernhardt from Texas. We're going to see 3 out-of-towners versus 1 in-town guy, Abraham Montijo, who's returning serve here. And then May 22nd, it's going to be one heck of a big ball event that they're going to throw with all the big names. So get ready for that. Score here 6-3, best 2 out of 3 to 15. Breaker also 15. Win by 2 here. Something that we've been doing for a few years.
Morning, Russell.
Beautiful return strike there from Dave Fink after the return of serve from Abraham Montijo, 8-3. Screen ball, no call. You'd say to yourself, why would the return of server not call a screen there? Well, if you've ever gone onto the court with one of these elite players, you find out quickly that you would take that screen over what potentially could be their best serve. And that screen is something that's, you're able to see it all the way from the front wall to where it comes to you. A lot of referees would call that a screen because that's what the textbook says, but the reality is you can see it all the way and it should just be let go by the ref, but it's not the way it is. Smart play from Abraham. And you heard Sean Lenning there say, great play, Abe. Oh, that was an amazing shot. That's a Shorty Ruiz overhand flop into the corner. And another point now for Montijo. He seems to be kind of rolling right now. And another first strike for Montijo. And another point. Montijo gets the side out and then 3 straight points, now 6-9. And that nice comfortable lead that Fink had is all been evaporated. Nice little power pass from Dave Fink. Felt that Abraham was going to call a screen but didn't do it. And if he was screened, he probably would have called it. Oh, great shot. Abe looks back to see if he was at the 40-foot line. Dave Fink breaks through the pick, goes over hand on that one, meaning that he goes over the top of the ball, breaks over the top, keeps the ball down. You see the fans distancing themselves here in the gallery. Fink leaves that ball up. Montijo's able to track it down and then ends up getting the side out. Fink was in control of that rally. If you play handball, you've probably experienced as an opponent, a server, who will look back at you either all the way to the point where they're almost making contact, to studying where you're standing. It's very ominous. Abraham Montijo has a knack of doing that. Watch as he doesn't do it all the time, but there's a look back. Now, in previous serves, he'll stare longer while he's in that box, and it just gives you this feeling like, what is he studying from me right now? We're going to have to wait a while to see if we can see it happening again. But you see a guy like Fink gets up there in the service box, and he just goes with what he does best. He doesn't even concern himself where the opponent's standing. Abraham does sometimes stare in a lot longer. Back to the roof. That was a miss from Fink, and Montijo now at 8-10. 9-10. Have to remember the last three-wall national championships, Montijo was a finalist. He lost in the finals to Sean Lenning. And now we're tied at 10. We're all together. First game going to 15, and Montijo is making a nice little comeback here. Once down, 9-3, finds himself up 11-10. He's on an 8-1 run at the moment, is Montijo. That ball was sent deep, now 12-10. To 10 now for Montijo. Unbelievable. A 10-1 run against Dave Fink. Montijo really had to work hard there as he calls a timeout. Montijo was down 3-9 and now has outscored Dave Fink 10-1 as Sean Lenning, facing the winner of Fink and Montijo, is warming up on the side court. He's our #1 seed at this tournament. 11-time outdoor three-wall national champion is Sean Lenning. Can't wait to watch his match. Look at this setup. Fink knows that Montijo is pinned back, goes to that same side anyway with that exclusive left to front kill shot from Dave Fink, and he goes with just a great serve. Deep line. Watch that ball hop back in. Great serve from Dave Fink.
Oh, come on, 8.
That's a great leave right there from Dave Fink, now tied at 13.
Hit that.
Another good deep serve. Montijo gets it back. Fink is so automatic from up there. And he just powers that ball down the right side. Montijo mad at the ball. Fink now serving here at game point. And just like that, Fink goes on a roll. And just like that, he gets a ace serve right underneath his feet. And Fink takes down Abraham Montijo here in game number 1, 15-13. WPH Icebreaker Challenge men's quarterfinal will continue with game number 2 coming up next here at Clark Park in Tucson. And we're back for game number 2, WPH Outdoor 3-Wall Clark Park with Dave Fink and Abraham Montijo. It was Dave Fink up 9-3, didn't score again for quite some time. Abraham Montijo goes up 13-10. Dave Fink comes back and wins 15-13 in that game number 1, and he had a good chance to get a point. Finds himself with a side out. These two live locally, and they don't play very often outdoor unless it's one of these tournaments.
Set up. I got it.
I got it.
Ball just really fooled Abraham. Really fun environment already here. Barbecue grills being lit up. The top pros are here as well. You'd have to think about 3 of maybe the top 11 outdoor 3-wall players are on this site right now. And that includes Killian Carroll, who isn't known to even have played 3-wall. But you have to include him. He's the number 1 4-wall player, and you'd have to think that he's probably better than somebody in the top 8. We'll find out.
Swing. That's the key.
Nice left, Luigi. Who do you play? Luis Cordova? Luis Cordova?
Another good serve. Another swing and miss. We're seeing a lot of those swing and misses out here. Oh, are you kidding me? A little flip right there from Dave Fink into the corner. Look at that. Just lets the ball right out of the palm of his hand, slides across that wall. Abraham flips his hand up in the air. Not mocking Fink, just mocking the result of that, I believe. Another inside outer from Dave Fink. Good serve. A slider deep. Really almost impossible to play that unless you said to yourself, hey, I know he's going to hit that right down the line. And I guess you go play it out the door. Even then, if you catch up to it, I find it almost impossible that you're going to get it back in the right spot. I'd say come out here with a bucket of balls and just practice that serve until it becomes muscle memory. You probably pick up five points a game easy if you master that, and probably more. Oh, Abe calls it over on himself and then hits a kill shot. And that's frustrating, but you can't argue with anybody. He wanted it over. It's his call. It's an amazing serve. Now 7-3 is the score here. Very easy to do that, hit the ball over the courts. And as you can see, this is what that court complex looks like. On the other side, there's 5 more identical courts like this, but they have back walls. And it could be part of phase number 2 if the WPH is ever to go there. Make this a national championship facility. It looked like Abraham was thinking that there might have been 2 bounces on that previous rally. There was something funky there. You saw Fink say, "Was I in your way?" And Abe said no. But there was definitely something wrong, and maybe it was that ball that Dave picked up off the ground. I'm not sure.
Oh, God, it's horrible. Oh, you look ridiculous, Dave.
That's a good call. 9-3, game number 2. Dave Fink wins game number 1. Big setup here for Abraham. Montijo goes down. Thought he would use the corner. Instead, slides it down the wall. Gets a point. 4-9. Oh, that's so frustrating. Thought that ball hit Abraham on the serve.
Swing like this.
Wow.
Long.
That's too bad for Montijo. He had a nice little run going there. Side out now of Dave Fink, back in the box with the score of 9-6. Pretty impressed with the showing from Abraham Montijo here, who did not look good in Icebreaker Challenge number 1 when he lost to Dave Fink in the semifinals. In fact, it looked like he was not in shape, hadn't been playing handball, and I think both of those things are probably true. Here, though, it does look good. Abraham does look like he's back to having that command of his game. So if he does win, obviously it's a great win for him. If he loses, I wouldn't be too upset. He's trying to make this one go to a tiebreaker. Look at that ball just hop out the door like that. It's about a 4-foot hop when it's all said and done. A little deep on that serve. Deep serve there from Abraham.
Just one after another. It's a nightmare. Can't hit the ball in the court.
A lot of that's because of Abraham putting Dave in these bad positions to have to try to get the ball back on the court. all that work that Abraham put in to make that comeback, he finds himself so quickly back at a deficit. Once Dave Fink gets in there, he's so aggressive. Now at 11-8. And it has to be frustrating. I've been in that position before against Fink, and I've been in that position before against Abraham. You work so hard to build a lead, and then you never score again. Not saying that he won't score, but I know that feeling, and it's not a good one. It's like, how can this guy come in here so quickly and score 4 or 5 straight points? It took me a half hour to build this lead, and I just lost it in about 90 seconds. It's like a dagger.
Move 1 inch, you will make an error. That's the bottom line.
On the plus side, Abraham's got Dave Fink talking to himself as Abraham talks to himself at the same time. Oh, what a great serve. That was a really good serve, and that's exactly what Montijo needs. Now, if he does the same serve, but isn't such a great one where you get the ace, it still puts Fink back on the deep line, and you're back in the offensive position again. Oh, and then Abraham makes just a terrible mistake. If Abe's able to hit that ceiling, it's probably going to be a point.
Let's go, Abe. Come on, dog.
Oh, good serve again. Fink just waiting for that. Went for a dive, ends up on his back, Courtney Pachot style, and Montijo getting the side out and now getting a point. That has to feel pretty darn good. Have your opponent laying on their back facing the wrong direction. You in the server's box. I believe now it's 10-13 or so. At least the 10th point for Montijo. This is becoming kind of tense. I feel it from both players and the fans of these players as well. Watch this ball. Fink hits it in a great spot. Forces Montijo to go way deep off the court. Montijo had only one chance, and that was sort of a jump flop shot into that right corner or left corner, and he just barely misses it. And it was all she wrote after that. Such a great shot. Fink getting another point here. Icebreaker challenge in Tucson, Arizona, coming down to match point for Dave Fink. The winner to face Sean Lenning next. This is the men's quarterfinals. Was that good? Nope, deep. Second serve coming. I thought that could have been the match. And there it is. The match is over. Dave Fink taking down Abraham Montijo here in game number 2 and the match, winning the first one by the score of 15-13, 15-10, game number 2. Very good showing for Abraham Montijo. We're going to have another one coming up right around the corner. My name is Dave Vincent. Thanks for tuning in to the World Players of Handball's production of this Icebreaker Challenge in Tucson, Arizona.